Let's say you wanted to do a documentary style production. What's the workflow like? First of all, a documentary style video does require careful planning. I like to compare making a documentary to going to the grocery store. If you go to the grocery store without a list, but just sort of a general idea in your head of what you want, you're going to spend a long time there. You ever spend 2 hours in the grocery store wandering around thinking, do I need this? Is this what I need? Am I forgetting something? That's exactly what shooting a documentary is like when you don't have an outline or a clear idea in mind before you start. You need your shopping list, you need your outline. You need to know what you need to get to tell the story you want to tell, even if you're not sure exactly what form that story is going to take. But you can't be afraid to make decisions ahead of time. You can't start a project without having a general idea of what you want to tell with your video. If you do, you're going to have a hard time editing and making it all happen. I've been involved with projects produced by other people where they had a great idea and they shot a ton of great footage, but it became so overwhelming that they never finished the piece. And that's a sad thing. You don't want to have that happen to you. When it comes to filmmaking, a framework helps your creativity. It doesn't hinder it. In fact, if it's too loose, you're going to be floating aimlessly, you can get overwhelmed, and your project can founder. Now let's talk about the narrative workflow. With a documentary, you have to start off with an outline and a few bullet points of key information that's critical to your story. With a narrative, pre-visualization of the entire project is critical. You basically need to build your entire movie on paper before you roll frame one. When you look at all the things you're supposed to do before you start shooting, it can seem a little overwhelming. But the fact of the matter is, if you break the process up into clear, simple steps, you really won't have a problem at all. You have to remember, you want to do as much ahead of time as you can. Your time is a lot cheaper when you're sitting at a desk with a piece of paper in front of you than when you're standing on a set or on location with a bunch of people looking at you, waiting for you to tell them what to do. The starting point of any narrative project is the script. I'm not going to go into screenwriting in this video. That's a whole separate topic. But once you have a script that you're comfortable with and you're pretty much ready to shoot it, it's time to break it up into a shot list. And a shot list is just that. It's a list on paper of every shot you need to get to tell your story. While you're breaking down your script into shots, it's also a good idea to do a script breakdown, which is basically a list of all the things you need to make your movie. Storyboards are the next step, but before you have your storyboards done, it's a good idea to scout the location and cast your talent, your actors, and take reference images. The storyboard artist can draw from those reference images, and then you're going to have storyboards that accurately reflect what you're actually going to be shooting. It's very helpful. At this point, you will have done a lot of work, but you're not quite done yet. Now it's time to think about scheduling and setting guidelines. Your schedule, to a certain extent, will be dictated by the availability of your cast and your crew. There's no getting around that. The guidelines, however, are yours to set. That's going to be a lot of thinking on your part about how much you want to shoot. For example, 3 good takes, 2 good takes, 1 good take, 5 good takes. You've got to figure out how much you want to shoot at each place before you feel comfortable moving on to the next setup. If you don't have clear guidelines, it's very easy to get nervous and keep shooting the same thing over and over. Or, conversely, to go too fast, to rush through everything, and not get those precious shots that you spent all this time and all this work preparing for.